Hi everyone, this is Cyrus from AML and my topic is fraud detection using machine learning and deep learning. What is before going to that, what is abstract of this topic? Due to cashless transaction, every people use ATM card and credit card for transaction, so fraud can also be increased. Billions of dollars of loss are caused every year by fraudulent credit cards transaction. The design of efficient fraud detection algorithm is key for reducing these losses and more algorithms rely on advanced machine learning techniques to assist fraud investigate. If we talk about the fraud, if we talk about the fraud, first will come into mind that when we are without using our ATM card, so many frauds are happens that debiting our money without interventions of our what introduction. The online shopping growing day to day, credit cards are used for purchasing goods and services with the help of virtual cards and physical cards, whereas virtual cards for online transaction and physical cards for offline transaction. In a physical card based purchases, the cash holder presents his card physically to a merchant for making a payment. If the card holder does not realize the loss of card, it can lead to a substantial financial loss to the credit card company. In online payments mode, attackers need only little information for doing fraudulent transactions, secure code and card number, expiring date, and etc. Problem statement. Credit card fraud stands as major problem for worldwide financial institutions. Annual loss due to it scales to billions of dollars. This is the major problems in the worldwide financial institution because any if we go to the anything, if there is any payment when we are doing the payment in the online, there may be some attackers will attack that and it will goes to hacking that and our money will detect without our intervention. So this is the major problem of the debiting money. We can observe this from many financial reports such as Bhattacharya et 10th annual online fraud report by CyberSource shows the estimated loss due to online fraud is 4 billions for 2008, which is 11% increases than 3.6 billions loss in 2007 and in 2006 fraud in United Kingdoms alone was estimated due to be 535 millions in 2007 and now costing around 13.9 billions a year. This is the major problem that is faced in the 2011 7 6 8 by you. This is the fraud. Because of the fraud, this happens. If we create the fraud detection algorithm, so we can easily find the whatever the frauds are going. So that is the major problem statements for the fraud detection. Based on this problem, we have created this fraud detection algorithm. Fraud detection. Fraud detection is a topic which is applicable to many industries, including banking and financial sectors, insurances, government agencies, and law enforcement and more. Through the use of sophisticated use of data mining tools, millions of transactions can be searched to spot patterns and detect fraudulent transactions. Before going to the design of these, we will collect the data and we will have to correct the data which is transaction and we have to form these some patterns to detect the fraudulent transactions. Fraud detection is process of identifying fraudulent transaction. Credit card fraud detection technique used to recognize fraudulent credit card transactions so that customers are not charged for items that they did not purchase. Here, this is the major problem as we have discussed. Without we are buying anything, the money will be detected. So the customers are facing lot of problem during the online transactions. So this fraud detection will help so that without any charges the item we can purchase. Fraud detection process, how the fraud detection process is goes here with the, there is one flow chart is there. Terminal check, correct pin, sufficient balance, blocked card. It will check these three conditions, and if it is okay, then it will accept, otherwise it will be simply rejected. Predictive model, it will predict and fraud score, is there any fraud is happening in that, it will also detect that. If there is fraud, there is the investigators, and investigators check that whether it is fraud or not, and it is checked, then only the money will be detected. If it will be fraud, the money will not be detected, it will intimate us it is a fraud. So it will give the feedback back to the predictor model whether it is a fraud detection, whether it is fraud or not. This is the feedback. First the terminal checks the, and whether and it accept if it is okay, otherwise it will reject, and the predictive model detect the whether the transaction is the fraud or not, and if there is fraud is there, the investigator checks and feedback will be sent back to the predictive model. Technologies used, what are the technologies used for the fraud detection? Here we can, one machine learning algorithm we use. Machine learning is the sufficient study of algorithm and statistics models that computer system use in order to perform a specific task effectively without using the explicit instructions, relying on patterns and interfacing. Instead, machine learning algorithm builds a mathematical model based on sample data known as training data in order to make predictions and decisions. Machine learning algorithms are used in email filtering, face recognitions, and so many examples and etc. Here types of machine learning algorithm we will use. Here dimensionality reduction, supervised learning, clustering, machine learning, reinforcement learning, supervised learning, regression, classification. By in this we have the subclasses. So by using these we will detect, we can classify the data whether it is supervised or unsupervised, whether it is labeled or unlabeled, and clustering, and we will classify the data, and based on that they will detect the whether the data is fraud or not. Supervised learning. Supervised learning, as the name indicates, the presence of a supervisor as a teacher. Supervised learning algorithm build a mathematical model of a set of data that contains both input and output. Basically, supervised learning is a learning in which teachers are training the machine using data which is well labeled. That means some data in already tagged with the correct answer. After that, the machine is provided with a new set of examples data so that supervised learning algorithm analyze the training data and produce a correct outcomes from the labeled data. What is unsupervised learning? Unsupervised learning is the training of machine using information that is neither classified or nor labeled. In this, in supervised learning, the data will be the labeled, and if we are providing, and it will be allotted to specific attribute. So in this there is no labels, so that we have to allot the labels to this specific attribute and allowing the algorithm to act on that information without guidance. Here, the task of machine is to group unsorted information according to similarities, patterns, and differences without any prior training of data. Unlike supervised learning, no teacher is provided, that means no training will be given to the machine. Therefore, machine is restricted to find the hidden structure in unlabeled data by ourselves. In reinforcement learning is an area of machine learning reinforcement. It is about targeting suitable action to maximize rewards in a particular situation. It is employed by various softwares and machines to find the best possible behavior or path it should take in a specific situation. Reinforcement learning differs from the supervised learning in a way there is no answer key, but the reinforcement agent decides what to do to perform the given task. Here the algorithm used is logistic regression. In this, it is statistical model that it's basic from uses a logistic functions to model a binary dependent variable. Although many more complex extensions exist in regression analysis, logistics regression is estimated the parameters of a logistical model, a form of binary regression. Mathematically, a binary logistic model has a dependent variable with two possible values, such as pass or fail, which is represented by an indicator variable where the two values are labeled. This is a graph of the logistic regression. Predict y lies within 0 and 1. It will predict between these labels 0 and 1 modules. In module 1, we will do to make this algorithm in first, we have divided this into 5 modules. First, in module 1, frame the problem, collect the, and the module 2 will collect the some of the raw data which is used to predict the whether that is fraud or not. Downloaded data from Kaggle, and we will download this raw data from Kaggle website. Import the libraries pandas, numpy, and sklearn, etc. Module 3, module 4, sorry, process the data for analysis, perform the logistic regression on data, and we will do some training set and testing set, and we will perform the data of on the algorithm, process the logistic regression on data, explore the data, perform in-depth analysis. Next to communicate results. It will communicate in these communicate results. It will give the whether the transaction is the fraud or not. It will give. It will detect data set for credit card fraud detection. The data set that is used for credit card data is derived from the Kaggle. Kaggle is the online community of data scientists and machine learners. Kaggle allows users to find and publish data sets, exposures, and build models in a web-based and data science projects and solve challenges. Here, there is a one flowchart. User gives from the collect the data from Kaggle dataset and import modules that is NumPy, Pandas, sklearn, prepare data, and whatever the data we are going to test, we will prepare some data and logistic regression algorithm, and this data is performed on this logistic regression algorithm. Check the data whether the data is fraud or not. Predict, it will predict, and it will fraud, it will detect the fraud and floating credit card fraud detection using predict model. This is the flowchart for the credit card fraud detection using predicting modeling. Here we are importing the libraries, importing NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn, sklearn, Matplotlib. Here we are importing, and in this we are reading the data. Here we can see data set here, credit card.csv file. This is the credit card.csv file is the data set which is used to predict the data performing on the logistic regression. Here some of the screenshots we have taken. Fraud equal to data.log data class equal to 1, normal data.log class equal to 0. And the length of fraud, we can also calculate the length of fraud by giving the command length of fraud. Here length of normal also we can calculate. After the predicting, it will give this data. This is the logistic regression. By using this, we can say that whether the data is fraud or not. Some of the screenshots here, sklearn linear model import. Here importing some from sklearn.tree. Some of the advantages here given. The results obtained by the logistic regression algorithm is best compared to any other algorithm. We have lot of ways to predict the fraud, but the logistic regression is the best way to compare with another algorithm. The accuracy obtained was almost equal to cent%, which proves using of logistic algorithm is best results. System requirements. What are the requirements to predict this value? We require hardware requirements of 4 GB NF and higher, processor Intel i3 and above, 500 GB is minimum, OS Windows or Linux, Python IDE, Python 2.7x and above, Jupyter Notebook, setup tools and pip to install for 3.6 and above, language Python. Conclusion and future scopes. Fraud detection system has become essential for bank and financial institutions to minimize their losses. However, there is a lack of published literature on credit card fraud detection techniques due to the unavailable credit card transaction dataset for researchers. We designed a system to detect fraud in credit card transaction. This system is capable of providing most of the essential features required to detect fraudulent and legitimate transaction. The dataset available on data day-to-day processing may become outdated. It is necessary to have a updated data for efficient fraud behavior identification. Thank you.